Welcome to the Mary D Show. I'm your host, Mary D, here to be your guide as we extract wisdom and life lessons from top CEOs, thought leaders, artists, spiritual luminaries, and wellness experts. My intention is to bring you value in every show that sparks an idea, helps you break a limiting belief, or encourages you to create thoughts that up-level your life so that you can know from the deepest parts of your soul that everything you want is available to you and that abundance is your birthright. In 2018, I healed from breast cancer holistically after surgery without the use of chemotherapy or pharmaceuticals. I love biohacking and plant medicine and exploring spirituality and what it means to be in relationship with spirit so that we can feel whole and complete no matter what life throws at us. My specialty in the business world is strategy and leadership, and my gift to each of you is my ability to listen so that I can help others see themselves. In each episode, I want to sprinkle you with some hope dust, tickle your funny bone, and inspire you to find your inner roar. Get ready to live your most aligned, purposeful, and joy-filled life now, and enjoy the show. Hello, beautiful soul, and thanks for tuning in. I have missed you these last few weeks. I unfortunately got COVID after coming home from a conference in Scottsdale, and although it only laid me out for a day, it took my vocal cords for about 2 weeks, and pile onto that my sweet mama going into the hospital, and that is what I call a monkey wrench thrown into my life plans. As the saying goes, life is 90% how we respond to it and 10% what happens. I am over here sitting in so much gratitude because my amazing team simply pushed up some guest episodes that were already ready to go, and that gave me a lot of space to focus on family and healing, which to me are the things that matter most as the CEO of my life. On today's show, I'm inspired to ask you if you know how to fill your cup first. Filling your cup first means taking care of you and putting yourself first so that you have full capacity to take care of those who are counting on you. Think of it like a gas tank. If you are always driving around on a tank that is a quarter full of gas or a quarter charge, you're only going to get so far before you have to stop and pull over and fill up. If you went through life always filling up at a quarter and never getting to full, then you would have constant interruptions and you would never get far enough at once to get where you need to go. A month ago, I was able to experience an indigenous medicine ceremony with my old partner. This wasn't my first medicine ceremony, but it was his. And that experience is an episode all by itself, so I'll save it for another time. But the story for today's show I will start with is him and I sitting in a cabin pulling some oracle cards from one of my favorite decks called the Cosmic Journey Oracle, which was created by my friend Yannick Silver. And before I pull cards for someone else, I ask them permission. And I have them knock or tap on the deck 3 times to indicate their consent. So I asked for consent, and as I was counting out the cards, 2 cards actually came out of the deck. And my instant intuition was that the card he selected was for him, but that the extra card that floated out was actually a little bonus card for me. I went with it and turned the cards over, and sure enough, his card basically was one that encouraged him to say yes to what the universe was presenting to him, which for the weekend, for what we were about to experience, was a really timely message, and it became his mantra. And he took that advice into the weekend so that he could play fully. The other card, the one that I was pretty sure was for me, was a card that said, fill your cup first. And this card was exactly what I needed to hear. Because to be honest, I was having a tough week. Tough in that I was feeling very ungrounded. I was feeling messy, and I was feeling like my world was out of whack. There was a pinch of chaos. And for me, that is not my normal. The problem with my not normal is that it also means my nervous system is also out of sorts, and that requires even more energy for me to restore things back to my normal. And it means that my cup is not full and that my tank is probably running somewhere around empty. That card that told me to fill my cup first also felt like a sure sign or a little wink from the universe that I had permission to stop and step back and take care of myself. Because you see, one of the things heavy on my heart was the fact that just 2 days before, my mom was admitted into the emergency room with heart complications. And if you've heard me talk about her, you know that she's my biggest fan and I'm hers. And everything in me wanted to drop everything in case this was the last time that I was going to get to see her. I was really struggling with trying to honor my own commitments for myself, also for my ex, who really had to stretch for this weekend that was so created so divinely that I was sure I was supposed to be here. And for this emergency of life to happen was just very unexpected and really sent me into my head. The card, though, felt like God was putting his hand on my shoulder and saying, you are where you're meant to be. Take care of yourself first, and this will be here for you when you get out. So with that newfound peace, I entered the weekend. It was magic. And so many beautiful signs continued to show up to remind me that God is always conspiring for my good. For example, I got stuck in the village near our ceremony space with no ride in sight to get us to the retreat. We were so close, but so far away. I sent out a little SOS in the group, and right away, a woman who was on her way said, no problem, let me pick you up. You're right on my way. And she gave us a ride. Within moments, she shared that she had driven in all the way from Dallas, which was where my mom was in the hospital. And I quickly just mentioned that I was from the area as well. And she immediately said to me, oh, do you need a ride back? I'm happy to give you a ride. Now, you have to remember that I don't know this woman. I've never met her in my life. I haven't mentioned anything about my mom being in the hospital. I have simply mentioned that Dallas is basically my hometown. And just like that, I knew that I was getting another wink from the universe. Go fill your cup, Mary. We already have this figured out for you. I didn't have to go into some frenzy of changing my flights because I was going to have to bypass any of that. So I go into my weekend, it's magic, and on Monday morning, I hop into the car with her. And this is not a short drive, you guys. We're hours away. And yet it's still faster than any of the flights that were available to me. And my original flight wasn't until 3 days later. And she doesn't just drive me back to Dallas. She drives me right up to the doors of the hospital with an hour to spare before my mom is about to go in and have her heart procedure. And stepping through those hospital doors, I had a full cup. And I was going to need it because I spent the next 3 nights sleeping on convertible furniture in a hospital room where I got to advocate for my mom's care and eat from a farmer's fridge vending machine. I see you out there, moms and dads, caring for your families, trying to raise your littles, throwing duct tape up to patch a hole in your situation until you can spare an emotional minute to come back around and fix it. You might be taking a toll on your health because things are stressful and you can't find that minute to stop and actually recharge. And I shared this story with you in the hopes that you'll be inspired to stop and fill your cup first. Because when we do, we get so much further. We get to experience so much more peace and the richness of life. We can move forward through any challenges that come up more supported, emotionally grounded, and with the energy that lets us really tend to those cups that we need to fill for our work, our families, our homes, in all those ways because our cups are actually full. So if you're feeling frustrated or stressed and can't seem to find the time to fill your own cup, then I encourage you to take that much needed break before your body breaks down and forces you to do it. If you have someone special in your life who is always filling the cup of others, this is also my invitation to you to recognize that person for all they do and find ways that you can also give that loved one space on their schedule to fill their own cup. Sometimes this is in the immediate ways, like taking over a chore or offering to pick up the kids so your partner gets a break. It might be sending them away for a weekend to a yoga retreat or a fishing trip, or it might mean sending the kids to grandma's so you both get a chance to fill your cups. One way I experienced breakdown in my previous long-term partnership was in not just taking that intentional time together away from those day-to-day responsibilities. And I would tell you that although my dogs are such a joy and they definitely made our lives better, they do still have to be cared for. And I could actually feel the difference in my alone time with my partner when we had a sitter for the dogs or when we were on a trip without them. So even in this case, pets are no exception. If one of your highest values is your personal relationship with a life partner, I can't stress for you how important it is that you create those really intentional moments with them that let you both unplug as sovereign separate units and also as a couple or a throuple. There is not a wrong way to fill your cup. ways to fill your cup are going to look different for everyone. It also might not necessarily look like taking a vacation, because in my experience, people are really great at filling up their days of vacation with so many activities that it leaves them energetically depleted and needing a vacation from their vacation. It might actually look like doing something creative like painting or sculpting or dancing or writing. And it might look like singing or just sitting on the grass or floating down a river. It might look like calling an old friend to catch up. It might look like a drive in the countryside. It also might look like doing absolutely nothing and being in full acceptance that doing nothing is actually doing something. It's giving yourself a break from whatever is not your normal state of peace. And for sure, getting a break from any state of chaos or stress, because that's what you really want to go for. One simple way to identify how to fill your cup might be tapping into how you like to be loved. I love touch. So for me, massages and facials and hugs, those are ways that I get my cup filled really quickly and really easily. They are a regular part of my self-care routine. Every morning before I hop out of bed, I actually touch every part of my body lightly, like a little light lymphatic massage, and speak words of love and health into all my parts. I really love this part of my morning ritual, and I'm pretty sure I'll do it forever. I want to actually read you what that oracle card says, and I'm going to even include the prompts so you can either mentally or physically take action to move the energy of filling your cup forward. So first, I want you to identify where your own cup is at right now. And then pick at least one thing on your list that is constantly draining that cup. Pick that one thing that you can say no to, or that you can move off your list right now to make space for you to get into the fill your cup zone. And this card prompt, it's actually titled, "You Cannot Pour from an Empty Cup." And I'm going to read it to you. It's easier for so many of us to want to give. Give, give, give. But it's impossible to pour from an empty cup. You may believe that you are being more generous by sacrificing your own well-being for your family, your company, your community, but you're not. You're simply playing the role of savior without saving yourself. It's a feeble form of denial to believe you can help someone else without first healing that same wound in yourself. Too many times we may feel guilty saying no to an important project or task. It's even worse for those of us with big missions. There's no extra credit for running yourself into the ground. In some way or another, your body will tell you it needs a rest. Often, this rest will come at inopportune times. The most selfless thing you can do to ensure you are taken care of is to fill your cup. There is a second piece of this oracle, which is called the Cosmic Catalyst. And the Cosmic Catalyst is the part of the cards that include a journal prompt so that you can work through this oracle. And in this case, the prompt is, what truly fills my cup? What can I do daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, and yearly? Think of different situations and activities, small or big. List at least 11. The third step of this is the cosmic checkbox. And the checkbox is like a next action step you can take. And this one is to share your list of cup-filling activities with the closest person to you and schedule time in your calendar to fill your cup. So cheers to full cups. I hope yours is full of peace, joy, and laughter. Tune in next week for a new guest featured episode. And until then, may abundance walk beside you, may joy always go before you, and may love always guide you on your path. Thank you for joining us on today's show. I hope that today's session inspires you to live an aligned life where you get to take complete ownership of your feelings and decisions to live in your truth. You can connect with me more at www.maryd.com. You can also catch us on YouTube at The Mary D Show. Head on over to Instagram and Facebook and type in @TheMaryD and just look for the little blue check to ensure you're on my official page.